You are now listening to Radio Drama Game, a place where you choose and we perform for you. I woke up fresh as a paper ball in an IRS's trash bin. It was nearly 8 a.m. Nevertheless, I managed to shave in front of a tablespoon borrowed from the hotel's diner, serving me as a mirror. Ironed my shirt, jacket and trousers with the use of travel iron and my good oak desk. The heat from the iron must have spooked woodworms, so Carl the canary had his breakfast before me. Indeed, the early worm gets the bird. Or it is the other way around. It was still too early to make such philosophical divagations, while I still had the 3 creepy guests on my mind. As a form of morning exercise, I went downstairs to the lobby and through there to the aforementioned diner. As a guest, even though I rent only office in this peculiar resort, I am entitled to a breakfast. I nodded to a few familiar faces, greeted my neighbor, the singing lady. She, on the other hand, greeted me with disgust in her face, chewing on a po' boy sandwich. She looked like an anaconda with half of a bun in her mouth as a helpless victim. No wonder she can produce sounds that terrorize half the block. After those pleasantries, I inspected the day's menu. Eggs, scrambled eggs, eggs benedict, boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs, egg wrap, egg salad, frittata, so the usual. I once asked concierge Tony what is with those 1001 egg dishes.
It is due to chef's another job. He's part-time voodoo priest, so he needs eggs to perform some ceremonies for the tourists, and chicken is also killed very often during some other occasions. So eggs, chicken, poultry, especially black rooster, are always fresh. Sometimes, however, you may find small voodoo doll or hen leg with red ribbon still attached to it in the bowl of chicken soup. Our guests love those, as they say, folklore. As wise man once said, keep with this that you know. I chose scrambled eggs, poultry sausage and corn pone. This way my levels of cholesterol are as high as they can get before your heart gives up. I sat near the front window eating, sipping coffee, looking at the street and thinking about last night's events. Meantime, Tony the concierge appeared holding something under his arm. It was the video cassette that belonged to Alex Johnson. Tony told me that Alex hadn't checked out. Well, hour was still early, but he was nowhere to be seen. Furthermore, one of the cleaning ladies entered Alex's room in order to vacuum and change bed sheets, and she found the room trashed. Floor lamps all broken in half and covered in something that seemed to be blood. The room is a battlefield without a victim.
Of course, Tony was trying to pin costs of cleaning and Alex's stay on me. No way I agreed to that. I pointed out that everyone is responsible for himself, and most of the rooms in this hotel look like abandoned circus warehouses, especially during Mardi Gras. He cited heavily, mentioning something about me owing him for the price he gave Alex on my account, and gave me the tape. Owing Tony caused me some hiccup in the past, so I gave him large tip after all, to alleviate his concerns. Later on, I finished breakfast and returned to my office. By then, I had already made up my mind and decided to find Elsa Kloss. Therefore, the cassette of the delirious actor and foppish business card of mysterious Carasius Auratus ended in the bottom drawer of my desk, maybe never to be seen again. I decided to begin my investigation with calling Elsa's mother, Ursula, since she was the one concerned most with the disappearance of her daughter. Those two seemed close-knit, and sometimes daughter confine in mothers. The talk we had will enter telephone annals as the most exhausting and hysteric for both parties. Ursula was constantly crying, scattering words between tantrums. What I was able to fish out was that Elsa had a boyfriend, Mike Stone, who also studies at Nola University. But what? I was unable to find out despite my sincerest efforts. They loved each other and planned holidays together. And if I heard correctly, Mike is now also missing. Or something is hissing. Yes, talking to Ursula was like that, guessing every word thrown in a crying spasm. The clearest messages were: Elsa lived on campus. Her roommate was Cathy Miller. They both studied liberal arts, whatever that is. So, it's time to do some investigating on the premises of well-known New Orleans University. First, I had to talk to Cathy Miller and, if possible, to other Elsa's friends. To do so, one does not just wander into dormitory. I had to look inconspicuous to students and, most important, to campus police, since my PI's license is suspended. So, no fedora, trench coat and rumpled shirt with half of the tie. I even shaved myself already. Old jeans and swirly tie-dye t-shirt made me another person. Oops, correction. It's not tie-dye t-shirt. It was once a regular t-shirt used to staunch gunshot wound. In that case, I had to ask Tony if he had any hip t-shirts left by hotel guests. For $1, he sold me one, with an anarchy sign on chest. I must have succeeded in this transformation. Even Tony looked at me with a bit of disgust in his face. The admiration I faced twice that day. It felt like I was back in the 80s. 5 minutes later, I was already on a bus to the campus. While on it, I discovered that my disguise grants me comfort not only of movement, but also of travel. I scared a few passengers away, so they vacated my personal space, as well as one seat. After a while, I reached my destination. Pontchartrain Hall North, dormitories for the future elite of this city. The place was swarming with individuals, ones with books, others with ideas. Sometimes it's just one look at someone and you know who will read all the books and always follow rules, and who wastes all their parents' money but grabs life by horn, blindly believing in bottomless of the trust fund. I received my education with the help of punches and hits, delivered with every wrong answer by a teacher known as Life. I went into the building and stopped by a front desk. No surprise, or University of New Orleans, hires students to do some tasks. In this case, a chubby Asian boy was working desk shift. So I asked him about Elsa Kloss and Cathy Miller. And this is where two different generations collided. He looked at me with an amazement, called his colleagues, and instead of answering me, started making jokes.
Are you looking for your granddaughter? An anarchist at this age? Did you meet Lenin personally?
If you were a good student, you'd know that he was a communist. And back in the day, that mistake could cost you your life.
Whoa! A true fountain of knowledge.
Listen, man, I need to speak with Cathy. Can't you point me in the right direction? I even slipped $5, but that sum of money only made him laugh. Spoiled capitalistic brat.
So, old man, I see that global warming is true. How long were you under ice? Rip, run, wrinkle? $5. Look, fellas, a true bourgeois.
How about I rip you a wrinkle on your fat little... I didn't manage to finish because small Buddha must have pressed some panic button and the alarm went off. I had to run, and the best way to hide is to do it in plain sight. Before I ran off, I'd grabbed some papers from the stand beside door. Minute later, I sat on the grass near some weirder-looking dude. Weirder than me, that is, with a guitar out of tune. He had blonde dreadlocks, was dressed in a vest made out of jeans jacket. He played I pretended to study, campus info booklet, and peeking from time to time above its edge to see if the police are coming. The dude stopped torturing surroundings with the ill sounds of his guitar, and addressed me.
Hey! I know you! You that professor that was a punk rocker in some hardcore band and now teaches sociology or something like that. You this Greg na 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 na, right? I'm Ian.
When opportunity comes knocking, why waste it? Yes, I'm Greg. Pleasure to meet you, Ian. Not everyone is as welcoming as you are. I was looking at you with this guitar and you remind me of good times with my band. Hope you don't mind me sitting here.
Not at all, man. I'm a fan. So, do you like my music? Do you want to hang out later? Hit a bar, maybe?
Yeah, sure. You know, Ian, university asked me to form a band and gave me a list of gifted students. You are numero uno there, if you are the Ian...
Corvin.
Yes, Ian Corvin, number 1, lead guitar. I'm also looking for Elsa Kloss, Cathy Miller and Mike Stone. Do you know any of them?
Mike Stone? Yeah, he's my best bud. He always hangs with his gal, Elsa, but now they are gone.
Again, my luck struck gold. But in a way, every place has this one person that knows everybody. A village idiot, I believe, is the scientific term. Holidays in the middle of the term?
Strangest thing, Mikey is not answering his phone. His parents are always on business trips around the world, so they won't even notice Mike's absence.
And Cathy?
Mike and Elsa tried to set us up, but it didn't work out. Do you want some?
Don't you know that drugs will eat away your potential? Did Mike tell you where he is or going, maybe? You have any ideas where can he or Elsa be?
Must have gone fishing, cause he was saying something about a pike.
Pike?
Pike!
Listen, Ian, can you contact me with Cathy? I need to talk to her. She's the leading vocalist.
Cathy? No offense, man, but she can't sing for a broken pipe. You sure you want her to sing?
Well, it's not my decision. Juno gave me the list, those scum trusts, cartels, the game is rigged. What can you do?
True that, Greg. Fa, raise your voice. I call her.
Whoever this Professor Greg is must have had a tremendous impact on this young soul.
Oops. Our singing bird doesn't answer.
Do you know which dorm she lives in?
Yeah, north. Go to the front desk and ask for her. But probably she's still at lectures.
Well, I had a little argument with the sassy cherub, and I don't want to make a scene.
Yeah, sometimes Joe Lee can be a proper a-hole.
And you know, Ian, the band... Shh. Everyone will want a piece of that. Why them, not us, and we have a Stanford experiment on our hands. The less people know, the better.
Sure thing, Greg. And guess who in a few hours starts the graveyard shift at the front desk, I can let you in to see Cathy, and later we go to the bar, man. You gotta tell me when the new album is popping up.
Life never stops to amaze. I left Ian since I had a few hours till his shift starts, and where is the second best place to hide plus has an air condition? A library, the sanctuary for those who seek knowledge, silence and free Wi-Fi. When I entered, what a surprise! Another front desk. A nice-looking busty blonde inspected me distrustfully with her blue eyes, hidden behind her Woody Allen-styled glasses. By the way, everyone wears them now. It looks as if Woody Allen's everything he always wanted to know about sex and were afraid to ask became real. His progeny conquered the world. Woody here, Woody the girl there, another Woody, this time Afro-American Woody. The Woody librarian girl asked me for a student's ID, but word student was permitted with irony. Pam, that was on her ID badge. I am a new professor from liberal arts, just transferred here, and I wanted to assess the syllabus for my course. I lecture mass media influence. Since mass propaganda was constant during my youth in Eastern Bloc, I actually find myself an expert in this field of commercialism and media manipulation. However, I still lack the sense of Western human nature. Despite my best poker face and proper bull I tried to sell her, Pam must have pressed a silent panic button that called campus police because I felt the familiar hand on my shoulder, the touch that conveys all, guilt and approaching punishment.
You are trespassing, sir. Caused an altercation at the dormitory front desk. And now, impersonating a professor. That's a base for an arrest,
said fat, balding, short campus police officer with impressive mustache on his lip. Yet his mirror aviator glasses told me that he's not the one to joke around. Outside the library stood campus police cruiser, flashing lights and attracting students with smartphones. Of course, I got cuffed.
Get inside and don't bump your head.
And we drove off. 5 minutes later, he parked in some secluded area but still on campus.
Okay, Dick, show me your ID and tell me who you're looking for.
Dick? No need for such cordials.
I know a Dick when I see one. I spent too much time on the force to know who's a thief, murderer, or police. My nose tells me you are or were police. So you're private or corporate, Dick? Have a badge on you? Who you're looking for, and don't lie. I sense one lie and you end up in jail. Capiche?
So I showed him my license, which is now under inquiry for some BS. The truth is, beware women with jealous husbands who have strong influences, especially in police.
So you that jack of all trades, Cavellin. The private Dick. Man. You get the wordplay? Private Dick, hitting on congressman's wife? You crazy, son?
Corpulent man couldn't stop laughing, making whole vehicle to shake and jump as if it was some cholo's show-off car. When he finally calmed himself, I told him about Elsa, her boyfriend, and their missing. No point in hiding information that most people know of.
Yeah, I remember this student's mother. Cried all the time and paid me well to search the campus. No luck, I see. So she hired you, huh?
He finally uncuffed me and introduced himself.
Juan Domingo Gonzalez. So, I finally meet the man with grande. Who gave our congressman horns the moose size. Close shave. And you'd end up on terrorist watch list. All NOPD's precincts know about you. If caught playing Dick, arrest for impersonating one. Next time, ask me for a permission to snoop around my territory. Okay? Jack, now go and don't make me get you again. Cause I'll lock you up and call my congressman.
Hey, Gonzalez. You seem fair and square, here's my number. If you hear something about Elsa Kloss, give me a call. I might even find some moonlighting job for you.
Thanks, Dick.
I wonder if Dick Tracy would want him to be called only Tracy. After this professional encounter, which had given me an enormous insight into English vocabulary concerning one particular word, I had only 1 hour to kill before being able to speak with Elsa's roommate Cathy. Knowing that my disguise is rather a problem than an opportunity to walk around and pretend to be some old student who failed exams but somehow managed to stay on the deck of his alma mater, I sat nearby a library in a shade thrown by some big shrub. I suppose in nowadays economy all eternal students died out like dinosaurs. On the other hand, playing hippie professor was already in progress. I sat, checked time, skimmed through leaflets, and after some time I actually dozed off. It was too hot for me. I was woken up by something poking me vigorously in my ribs, and of course the familiar D word.
Hey, Slippin' Dick. I got some calls about that hobo who appears to be you. There's no slipping here. You have to move out of here. This is strike 2.
Now go. I looked at my watch. It was time to visit dormitory and finally talk to someone who knew Elsa Kloss closely. I thanked Gonzalez for his extended leniency and wandered towards Pontchartrain Hall North. Ian was already by the front. I nodded him conspiratorially. He lifted the telephone receiver and after a while nodded me back. When I approached him, he gave me a room number written on a yellow post-it note. After a few moments, I was finally getting closer to something. I knocked on the door decorated with a decal, presenting Mona Lisa wearing aviator shades, big mustache and smoking cigar. Below her was written with big gold letters famous Colombian motto, Plata or Plomo. By the way, Mona Lisa was a spitting image of Officer Gonzalez. Interesting theme for a girl's room. After a while, the door was opened by a tall, incredibly slim African-American girl with a small ginger afro, wearing, of course, Woody Allen's glasses.
I already told this douchey and I am not particularly interested. But if it helps to get credit for other classes, then yeah.
I am sorry for misinformation, miss. My name is Jack Cavellin. I am investigating disappearance of Elsa Kloss. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? She was shocked. A private investigator, dressed as a homeless. Here's my license. I was hired by Elsa's mother, Ursula. It's delicate matter, hence this disguise.
Ooh, nice! You're lucky that Officer Gonza didn't catch you. But you managed to trick Ian. His dream to sing beside his childhood years idol will be shattered. You know, that might even be sobering to him. Okay, what do you want to know?
Did you notice something strange about Elsa, especially after her birthday?
Birthday? It started at least half a year before her birthday. First, she started screaming at night in German, then she got interested in sports.
Sports?
At first, I thought, alright, girl wants to take care of herself, so she runs, then she takes swimming, and when she bought dumbbells, then I knew something was off. She started to skip lectures, classes, and she started to grow.
Muscles?
Not only, man. She was a tiny, modest white girl from Iowa, and she grew taller a few inches. Actually, now she is pretty tall, and yes, muscular as hell. But the worst happened just a few days before her disappearance. Do you know we are close friends?
Yes, her mom told me.
So she started changing also up here, in the head. She became distant and finally she called me the N-word.
What? Why? Was she racist before?
No, never. But something was wrong. When I asked her about all these nightmares and bodybuilding, skipping exams, she just snapped.
And Mike, did he tell you by chance something about their affairs?
A little. Mike at the beginning was enchanted by this new Elsa. He even started to call her his Wonder Woman. But with time, I'm sure he got scared. He even once told me that he knows what is going on, that the nightmares are the key.
Did he study psychology?
No, engineering. If you want to play doctor, I can replay you what Elsa screams in her dreams. I recorded it one night with my phone. It's not clear though.
Go ahead.
I googled Annie Nerby, but it is some random girl.
Do you mind if I could somehow take this recording with me? I do not have one of those smartphones, so...
Sure. What's your email?
Well, I am what you call them old school.
Okay, I'll find some old pen drive to give it to you. Meanwhile, do you want some coffee, tea, old school whiskey, Southern Comfort?
She was a really nice girl, but when on the job, never accept anything that can contain poison. From strangers, especially those that may be involved. This part of my militia course from old life, I am willing to remember. No, thank you. Would you mind if I looked around, see Elsa's room?
Do your job.
Elsa's room was, as in dormitory, small but very well arranged. Its cleanliness, order, usability reminded more of an army than student's life. Actually, entering it, I felt like I'm in one of those IKEA dioramas presenting possible furniture arrangements. Only two things were off: dumbbells and a small fridge. Typical for hotels, not rooms occupied by students. I opened it and found about 20 vials of genotropin and 10 of testosterone. Well, I think that this explains growth of my missing girl. I looked for one thing girls should have, and that would help me very much: a diary.
I have your pen drive ready.
Cathy, does Elsa have a diary? Have you ever seen it?
Yes, she has one. Red, very old-fashioned, closed with one of those small travel padlocks. She used to scribble in it nearly every night.
Where does she keep it?
Here, in the desk drawer. She thinks I don't know it, but I do. Oh, it's not here.
So maybe she wasn't kidnapped. Someone who's kidnapped doesn't have time to pack his diary, but also maybe the kidnapper took it to avoid unmasking. Damn, I do not like this case. Tell me please, did Elsa, apart from weightlifting, also got interested in other typically male activities like hunting, fishing?
Elsa? Why?
I heard from Ian that she and her boyfriend Mike were going to catch some pike.
Oh, maybe you mean Fort Pike. Yeah, they planned some trip just before their disappearance, and since Elsie was so interested in history, I'd bet that they went there.
Interesting. I took the pen drive as well as Cathy's phone number and left Pontchartrain building, avoiding Ian's cries for beer drinking and affirmations proving that I am his best bud, Professor Greg. At my office, I had to ask Tony the concierge to help with the pen drive containing Elsa Kloss night chill stock. It occurred that this is nowhere to be plugged into my tape recorder. Tony's help cost me $5 for borrowing one of the laptops from Lost and Found storeroom. It seems that in this particular hotel, guests tend to leave away lots of stuff. I once joked that it's because they are in panic, caused by the bedbugs the size of hermit crab. After this tiny jest, my rent went up by 5%, so no more jokes about this wonderful palace. I played the recording once again. What should I do next? Play it to Elsa's mom, Ursula, her father, or ask around in the hotel? I may be in luck, because I heard at the breakfast some German voices. So what is my next step? You are listening to Radio Drama Game, a place where your choices have consequences. Now you can go to radiodramagame.com and decide what should happen next, and also see the credits for this episode. Good night.